Hello there. Okay, I'm sorry. I really have to apologize for the noise. In my workbench down in the basement is next to the furnace, and it's a bit cold in Portland, so the furnace is running, warming up the house. But anyways, hopefully you can hear me okay. So I'll speak loudly. On my desk here, I have a few fun things. I've really been interested in addressable LEDs lately, and this bottom strip here is a 1 meter strip of APA. Oh, what is it called? Oh boy, where's it written on here? APA 102. Yeah, sorry. Okay, addressable LEDs. So the difference with these and the typical ones is these have 4 wires. So you know there's a 5 volts and ground. That's the power, and then there's a data and a clock line. So the nice thing about that is the timing of the signals is not important. So you can drive these from things like Raspberry Pi, where you wouldn't normally be able to do that, because on typical 3 wires setups, you know, where there's no clock signal, the timing is very important, and with a multitasking OS, not so easy. From an Arduino, no problem. Microcontroller, you know, you have tight loops. It has no issues driving those. But anyways, the other nice thing about the 4-wire ones, though, is the PWM frequency on these is in the kilohertz range. I think these are 12 or 16 kilohertz. So there's absolutely no flicker in these whatsoever. Cost-wise, they're about the same, maybe a little bit more money, but not much at all. I had bought this 1 meter strip here, which had 36 LEDs. Got it last year sometime, and it was $17 US. Free shipping, of course, from China. Comes with these JWT, I think they're called, connectors already on there. So the funny thing is, I had one of these and I liked it a lot, so I thought I'd order another one. So I went to the same seller and I bought the same $17 strip of 36, and I got this one. So it's from what I can tell, the APA as well. Oops, shit, sorry. It comes in a waterproof silicone, you know, envelope or whatever you want to call it, strip. This one fell down. So the interesting thing is, though, is I got it out of the package today and I counted up the number of LEDs, and yes, it's a 1 meter strip, but it's 60 LEDs. And you can tell here's the join. So we have L30 and then L1, that's where their 2 are soldered together. And wow, that's kind of a nice surprise, 60 LEDs. So, anyways, what I'm really interested in, though, these are great because they're no flicker. What I'm really interested in is these. Alright, so what this is, it's a set of 50 Christmas lights, you know, in quotes. There's an RGB LED, and it's soldered onto a little circuit board. And then it has some type of epoxy or hot glue or something that fills that in, I guess, to waterproof it. And that makes it, these are addressable. So it's a 3-wire setup, which is, of course, 5 volts and ground, and then the data signal, which is data and clock. And these are the WS2811, I think, is the controller, which is the same as the 2812, which is the one, that's what these look like. Integrated, the LEDs, the RGB LED has the integrated controller chip right in it. So this ring here is the same thing, 3-wire, fully addressable. But yeah, so these are, you know, Christmas lights in inverted commas or quotes. I haven't really taken these apart and I haven't even tried them out yet, but I'm excited because it's 50. I'm not sure how long these are, like lengthways when you stretch them out, but they're fully addressable. And of course, the problem, you know, that I don't like as much about the WS 2811s and 2812 is that they have a PWM frequency of about 400 hertz. So of course, there's definitely some visible flicker if you move your eyes across it. Just staring at it, you don't see it, but the pulse width modulation is very visible if you move your eyes. But I bought this just a single string. I thought I would test it out, see what kind of performance I get from this, see how it looks. And I guess if it works well, I'm probably going to order a second one of these and to put up on the front of my house. and you know, have some cool software controlled lights. And again, the seller, let's bring up the seller here so you guys can see it. I'm sorry, I'm very disorganized. I am not like Big Clive. Alright, here it is. Oh, I apologize for the flicker. So the seller is Growled 2015, and $28 for these 50 of them. I have no idea why it says 12 volts. These are 5 volts. Anyways, this is the color of the wiring, and I guess this is like the crystal one, so sort of clear. I figured this would be the nicest on the front of my house because the trim is white on my house. So if it goes under the eaves, they'll hopefully disappear. But white, green, black, RGB, I don't know why you'd want that. And yeah, so I'm going to test them out. 50 addressable Christmas lights, $28, not cheap, but clearly a lot of work's gone into these, each one of these sealed up. Oh, and I guess they're 12 millimeters. The LED is not, but the it's really hard to tell. But basically on this, it has a notch cut out and then little like sort of bumps. See that? You can kind of see it there. So essentially what happens is you can drill a 12 millimeter hole and then shove this in and mount this. So if you want to create kind of a display, say with your name, you know, a piece of wood or a piece of, you know, thin plastic, basically like Perspex plexiglass, and a drill, and you can do some nice stuff with this, you know, and wire them up, you know, around in your name or whatever and drive it. So let's see how these work. Okay, so I stretched out the addressable lights. There they are, all 50 of them. And they're about 13 feet long, stretched out like this, which is just under 4 meters. So not as long as I'd hoped. I guess because the you know, the LEDs are pretty close to each other here. But nah, it's not terrible. I'll have to go measure in front of my house. 2 strings of these would probably at least, you know, do the width of the house. 26 feet. Maybe not all of it, but I have a little porch in the middle. I don't know. I might have to order 3, I guess. So, yeah, there we go. That's how long they are. Okay, addressable Christmas lights. So I stretched them out. You saw how long they are. Now I have them essentially plugged into an Arduino here. Annoyingly, where this connector is, this is the data and a ground. The grounds are just tied together. You know, so these thin wires here are the power, and then this is the data and ground. So anyways, what's annoying is the colors. At least I have a whole set of these connectors here, you know, the male and females, and plugging into here, the red is the ground and the black is the data. That's just what happens, I guess. There's no standard for these, but that's a bit annoying. Also interesting is these boards have an in and an out for the data signal, right? Because the data comes in and then it's shifted and it's passed out. Well, it was not obvious to tell right off the bat. You can kind of see through these and see the writing inside, see like which is ground and what's 5 volts. But I had wired it all up on the wrong way, and I was like, it's not working. Well, yeah, you can't send the data into the out. And with these, I think it's the female connector that is the in. But for instance, on these addressable APAs, it's the opposite. The male is the in. Anyways, whatever. So I got 5 volts to my power supply. That's what these are here. And then I have the 5 volts powering it. And then I have the data signal going through. Oh, sorry, it's very hard to see. I have a resistor there to pin 3. This is just loaded with the demo for the fast LED library. And then I have the LED sort of strung out over my bicycle there. So let's turn off these lights here. And let's turn on the power supply. Here we go. Will it work? Oh, there it is. Nice. I have to say, I am generally pleased with that. Nice color. The flickering is on purpose, by the way. Yeah, nice. Okay. I have them running at 100% brightness. So it's not super, super bright. Oh, that is a cool effect. I love that. Whoa, whoa. All right, so these are officially cool. They're not cheap, but they're pretty darned neat. Oh, they'll look amazing on the front of the house when it comes time. It's kind of neat how the whole like epoxy thing glows here when the lights run. They're obviously a diffused LED, so where can I show better? Here we go. So I'll point this at the ceiling. So there's no bright spot. It's pretty even. It's pretty even. Oops. Better leave that hung in up there. So yeah, and on the far end, they give you another connector to daisy chain, plus you know, this is the voltage, this is the 5 volts, and then this is the data. And I had accidentally wrote in on here. Data ground. Anyways, whoops, that was a mistake on my part. Although I measured the voltage at the end here, and it was about 4.7 something. So there's obviously voltage drop over this skinny ass wire. I don't know if these controller chips have internal compensation for voltage drop, like they'll draw more current. But I mean, what I can do is adjust the. See if I adjust the power supply. Okay, so what I need to do is test and see how much. You can definitely see a little bit of the flicker, although it's pretty good. If you move your eyes across them, you could see the 400 hertz. But just looking at them straight on, they look great. Yeah. So I need to do like a full white, you know, RGB, full brightness, 100%, and then see what the power supply is registering for current draw, because I don't really know what I need to drive these if I'm going to put them outside. But currently, you know, you can see there, it's 5 volts, kind of. I think the most I've seen with them all lit. In fact, let's just reset this. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so here we go. Now it's doing the rainbow pattern where they're all on. You know, you're getting 600 milliamps, which is actually, yeah. It's not a great test because it's, you know, obviously it's doing an RGB thing, so they're not all driven at full brightness. But anyhow, there we go. You can find these all over eBay. Doing a little, you do a little wireless connection to the Arduino, and you know you should be able to do some cool programming. I'm not quite sure because you know you have to have pretty tight loops to get the animation working well. But or maybe I'll use a Raspberry Pi. I don't know. The only thing is I'll have to run this at 3.3 volts to talk to the Pi, or use a shift converter, a level shifter. But you can probably use like the DTR signal, and you know, not just receive and transmit to talk to this, but maybe DTR, and you bring it high or low, and then maybe in the loop you check for that, and that will like pause the animation and then talk to the serial port. I gotta think of what to do there, but they definitely look pretty cool. Anyways, there we go. That's my review of these little addressable Christmas lights. I really wish they didn't look like this, and you know, looked more like the other addressable Christmas lights I have that look more like C9. You know, if there was just a cap I could put on top of this to turn it into a bit more of a Christmas light looking thing, and maybe hide some of this circuit board junk. You know, it'd be nice if this was not clear. I don't know. I guess the clear is cool though because it does light up a little bit. But all right, thanks for watching.